Hi guys, Frank Lipsky with Engine House Training here, and we're going to go through a quick video on how we store and tie our personal webbing. Those of you that have been through our classes know that we recommend having equipment in your turnout gear or within your crew that's inside fighting a fire or whatever the operations are you're doing, that you have equipment with you that you can use for various types of rescue, whether it's rescuing one of your crew members or you get called to rescue somebody of another crew doing something else inside the structure. So after our classes we find a lot of people who say, you know, I wasn't really even carrying webbing, but since going to the class and seeing the different things that I can use it for, then I'm going to go ahead and carry it. So we recommend a 24 to 26 foot piece of webbing. This here is a 24 foot piece of 1-inch nylon tubular webbing, and we end up tying it in a loop. So we're going to tie it in a loop so that it's anywhere from a 24 to a 26 foot loop when it's finished. And we actually store it in the loop so it's easy to access. Obviously you don't want to be tying knots when you're in a poor visibility type environment. So what I'm going to show you today is the 24 foot personal webbing, and that'll kind of be the starting point of many of the other evolutions. So I plan on creating videos for each of the different types of evolutions we use the webbing for and having them available on the website. So we'll start with how we tie it, how we store it, and then we'll kind of move on from there to some of the other applications for your personal webbing. The way we're going to start that is we're going to drop one end. We'll start here with the other end of the webbing. We're going to take a little bit of tail here at the end, 12 to 14 inches, something like that, and we're going to tie just a loose overhand knot in the webbing. Okay, so once I tie my overhand, leave it a little bit loose, and I got about 8-10 inches or whatever of webbing sticking out the end for my tail. Now what I want to do is go ahead and trace down that webbing through my other hand, and what I'm doing is getting all the twists out. Okay, right there I came up to a twist. Get all those twists out of your webbing till you get to the other end. Now once I'm at the other end, I want to go ahead and trace through my overhand knot here, and I'm going to trace tail to tail so that when I'm finished I have a tail on each side of the knot. So I'm going to start here, lay it down directly on that tail and start tracing through it. You can see here, I'll get a close-up of this in the video, but I'm going to trace underneath this first loop. And here's the important part. I want to pull anywhere from 12 to 14 inches again so that when I wrap through here I have a tail left on the other side. Okay, you don't want to be fighting with getting your tail through there. And with a little practice you can get them pretty even and not use up too much of your webbing. So again, we're going to keep this tied, so go ahead and take your time to get it tied correctly and nice and tight, and that way you know it's ready to go when you need it. So we trace around there. I switch hands. I trace over the top of the overhand again. Now at this point it's easier to me if you just flip the knot over, because I can see where I need to trace through. There's a hole right here underneath the two pieces of webbing where I need to go through there to continue tracing to come out the other side. So I go ahead and tuck my webbing through. Okay, and once I get it tucked through I pull it out. And before you load this real tight, you want to dress those up, get them nice and snug so that they're right on top of each other, and then you'll go ahead and load it. Get it nice and loaded tight. Sometimes I like to go ahead and pull all 4 tails to make sure I dress it real nice and tight. Now, a couple schools of thought here. Some people say that if your water knot has at least a fist worth of tail sticking out, that it's safe. And that's true. I'm okay with that. If that's how you want to leave yours, that's fine. We recommend that you go ahead and safety both sides. And the reason for that, I'm going to tie just an overhand knot here around my loop. Okay, just like we would in any of our rope rescue applications, and I tie that safety knot. The reason we do that is for recognition. Okay, when I pull this out of my gear and I'm in low visibility, a high stress situation, if I can reach down and grab this and I can feel 3 knots here, I know there's a pretty good chance I have my 2 safeties and my water knot still intact the way that I intended it to be. So I like to go ahead and still put my safeties in, not for the strength, but just for the recognition. Just like with a coupling or a hose line, we feel that coupling, we know which way we need to go. So again, water knot there, 2 safeties, get everything dressed and loaded. Next thing we're going to do is just fold that webbing in half at the water knot, just like this. Okay, and then I'm going to put my fingers in between and I'm going to trace it down again. This time I can let the knot go, trace it all the way down so I can get it nice and flat, get everything so there's no twist in it. Okay. And when I get to the bottom, I'm going to end up with my loop here, and I know that's the center opposite my knot. Now, a lot of people will say they want to daisy chain this webbing. They want to put it on just like we do with rope rescue. And of course, if I'm using a harness and I'm in good visibility, then I'll use a daisy chain, because there's a lot of advantages to that. But for what we found with poor visibility in firefighter survival type situations or RIT rescue situations, it was best if we just roll this webbing up from this opposite end. So what I'll do is I'll start here and just make a tight little roll, and I'll trace that all the way down and go ahead and roll this entire 24-foot loop of webbing all the way down. Now, many of you may have seen the other technique for storing it. What we're going to do is just trace it all the way down, and we're going to stick it in an EMS glove, just a regular rubber latex EMS glove, and we found that that works the best. It helps, keeps it clean, keeps it in the position we want, and allows us to access our knot. So as I roll that, I'm going to keep the area with my knots on the outside. I'm going to kind of squeeze it to give it a little bit of an egg shape. Okay? And then once I do that, where my tail is here, the end of my knot, I'm going to put that in my hand so that that tail goes into the glove first. Okay, so I grab my glove, I go ahead and open it, and I tuck that webbing down in there, go all the way over. Okay, and there's a couple schools of thought here too. I kind of like this method. The reason I tucked the tail of that webbing down in the bottom of the glove first is because what that does is it leaves me actually like a little bit of work here, a little loop. And that loop is something I can grab onto. Again, if I reach in my pocket, it gives me something to pull out, and I got a hold of that loop. Then I just tear the glove off, and by doing that, once I have this loop here, and I grab the glove and tear it, and let go, I have the knot in my hand. So a lot of the evolutions, again, those of you that have seen the things we do in the class, we start from this point with the knot in the hand, whether it's tying the webbing harness or doing some of the drags. We always want to have this as a reference point. So that works pretty well, and we went through a couple different things trying to come up with ways to store the webbing, and we keep going back to the glove. It seems to work really well, and a lot of departments now will store this as personal webbing in their gear, as well as put one or two of these gloves in their RIT pack and have them available where they can pull them out, bust them open, and they're ready to go in the RIT pack. So again, that's our personal harness. Again, tied together with a water knot and two safeties, 24 to 26 feet, roll it up, throw it in your turnout gear. Now guys, this is my first video as far as our personal webbing stuff. My intention is I have a list of several of the evolutions that we use and the things that we use the webbing for. I'm going to make individual videos of those. But if any of you have ideas or things that you use your webbing for that you think would be worthwhile to our viewers, go ahead and send those to me directly. My direct email is my name, Frank Lipski, all one word, @gmail.com. And that's Frank, Lipski, @gmail.com, or you can reach me through the website enginehousetraining.com and go to the instructor section, and you can click on my email there and send it that way. And we'll check out your email. If you send video or pictures with a little description, we'll check it out. We'll probably try it out a little bit. I'll probably be in touch with you as well, and if we like the tip that you send in, we'll get it out on the website and give you credit for it. So again guys, hope you found that useful, and train hard. Thanks for watching.